elbow grease. Elbow grease was the smallest truck in the demolition derby, but he never let that bother him. And he said, "Well, why should I?" His brother Tank was tougher. His brother Flash was faster. His brother Pinball was smarter. His brother Crash was braver. Okay, we get the point. What elbow grease had was gumption. "You got that right, Buster," he said. He always tried his best and he never gave up. He would run into brick walls head first and he would bounce off and just say, "Ouch." And he would strap on a jetpack and try to go as fast as he could and just scream, "Ah!" And he tried the technical course, but he would knock over all the cones and just say, "Oops." And sometimes he'd jump through a ring of fire and go, "Yow!" At night, Mel the mechanic plugged in elbow grease to charge while the other trucks slept outside. Sometimes his brothers teased him for being different. But elbow grease didn't get upset. He was glad to be inside, especially during storms. "Ah, look at him. He's got a plug." "He's stuck to the wall." "He's got a lithium-ion battery, which requires an external power source for daily recharging." "Ha ha 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 ha! He's got a plug." "Have fun in the rain, you jalopies," said elbow grease. Then one night, Mel brought home a poster. It said Monster Truck Grand Prix, featuring the reigning champion, Big Wheels McGee. "Someday I'm going to be on a poster," said elbow grease, but his brothers just laughed. "You're too slow. You're too small. Your technique and experience are inefficient to compete at a professional level. You're too, don't hurt yourself, Tank." That made elbow grease mad, so mad that he zoomed off to the Grand Prix by himself to prove his brothers wrong. "I'll show those jalopies what I can really do," he said. In the morning, elbow grease was exhausted. He had been driving all night without a charge. But when he arrived at the Grand Prix, he felt his circuit surge with excitement. He quietly rolled onto the track and snuck into position behind the monster trucks at the starting line. The race was about to begin. "On your mark, get set, go!" The other trucks were bigger. The other trucks were faster. The other trucks had more experience and better technique. But elbow grease would not quit. "I'm never going to give up," he said. He fell behind, but he kept on trucking. Oof! He got covered in the mud, but he kept on rolling. Yuck! He got bashed and smashed and even caught on fire a little bit, but still, he kept on going. Owie kazowie! Oh, rust buckets! Halfway through the race, it started pouring rain. Thunder rumbled. Lightning flashed. All of a sudden, elbow grease's engine shut down. His battery was completely dead. Elbow grease was stuck. For the first time, he wondered if his brothers were right. He started to cry. I'm not crying. I'm just cold and tired and scared of light. Crack-a-lacka-lacka. Boom shakalaka. It energized poor elbow grease. He didn't know what was going on, but he felt it for sure. The lightning jolted the battery pack to life. Elbow grease barely had enough charge to keep going, but he didn't give up. He didn't give in. No matter what, he would finish this race, even if he came in last. Mel and elbow grease's brothers arrived just in time to see him rattle across the finish line and collapse in a heap. The winter celebration was already over, and Elbow Grease just went, ugh. But his mechanic Mel came out and said, "Look, Bo, most trucks couldn't even make it to the finish line." Just then, the winner of the race rolled by. "Well, shift my gears and call me Sally. This kid's got gumption. You boys could learn a lot from him." Elbow Grease just looked at him, completely shocked and surprised, because Crash was shocked too. He said, "Big?" And Flash was stunned. "Wheels?" he said. Pinball was intrigued. "McGee?" Tank was confused, and he just said, "Who?" Mel knew that Big Wheels McGee was right. "If you only stick with what you're good at, you'll never learn anything," she said. So the next time your problem seems too big or too hard, just remember, a little elbow grease goes a long way. And Tank was driving around and ran into something. He said, "Oops." And the smart one ran through the fire and says, "I'm currently on fire." And the other one said, "Ouch." And finally the red guy said, "Ah." And Mel was on the sidelines yelling, "You can do it, fellas." And Elbow Grease is at the top of the trick mountain saying, "Hustle up and show me some gumption." The end.